Hello and welcome to the Lyman Wolf podcast. I am your host, Raceland, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Nate. What is going on, buddy?
Not much anymore.
It has been quite a while since we've done a podcast, and that's alright. I mean, we had some stuff going on in our lives, so we're finally back, and since we're back, I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to bring on a guest who hasn't been on the show since the last time he was on the show. Which doesn't make sense. And that is our friend Ty.
You're not
Hello,
lying.
everybody. It's me, Ty. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah,
So
you haven't
glad
been on the
that-
show since the last time you're on the show. That makes sense.
It's not untrue.
Yeah, it's factual.
It is factual. So, on today's podcast, we are going to be talking about the best open world video games. Now, before we dive into things, can we all kind of like discuss really fast, what do you consider an open world game? Because a lot of my friends from like work and stuff, we have very different opinions on what a quote unquote open world game is. So how would you describe an open world game?
Ty, you can take this one if you'd like.
Oh, gee, thanks. I would describe an open world game as a game with a open world.
Okay.
But in video games, an open world would be like a virtual world in which the player can approach objectives freely, as opposed to a world with more linear and structured gameplay. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Okay, so one of my examples, this is not, I don't think this is going to be on anybody's list. Borderlands. Would that be considered an open world? Because it is kind of a linear story.
It's a linear story, but it's open and side quests and stuff.
But it's also not technically open world. I think it's partial because, like, you have to go through a loading screen to get to the next quote-unquote, like, area.
I mean, loading screens don't necessarily mean it's not open world.
Okay, that was my main question. What would that, deteriorate from an open world game or not?
I would say any place or any game that allows you to access older areas of the game and still be able to like do previous quests even if you've progressed the story itself. I
Okay.
would say that's probably
Okay, because one of mine, I consider an open world, but I could see arguments against it. So that's why I was asking.
we will let you know when you.
All right.
when you-
All right, so everybody I have an idea of what we're doing now?
Yeah,
Yes.
All right, so who's going first?
I believe you are,
Yeah,
Raceland.
I vote you.
All right, vote me. All right, so my number 5, so we're only doing 5. My number 5 is a pretty new game. I don't know if it might be on Ty's list. It's definitely not going to be on Nate's list. And that is Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
That is not on my list.
Not on your list, okay. I knew it wouldn't be on Nate's because he doesn't have a PlayStation. But Marvel's Spider-Man 2, I almost said Ultimate Alliance, it's a different game. Marvel's Spider-Man 2, while the first game was fantastic, I think the second game did a much better job, especially with the open worldness, because then they introduced like the wing glide, the web wings or whatever it's called. You glide around the city. You can play as multiple players, multiple characters, different there's tons of side quests, tons of suits, stuff like that. It's just an overall, I mean, I'm pretty sure most people who listen to this podcast and are into video games and stuff know what Spider-Man 2 is.
Yeah, even I, who've never played it, know quite a bit about it.
Yeah.
I got the platinum for it. Yeah,
I
played it.
I did not get the platinum, but I got a lot of trophies done. I put a lot of time into that game. No, the reason why I put this above the first one is one key thing, Nate and Ty, and that is Venom was introduced in this game.
Yeah.
The story was really good. They did a really good job introducing Venom, because I was really nervous when they announced the trailer for Spider-Man 2, and I was like, how is Venom going to be introduced into the Insomniac's little Spider-Man universe? And I think they did a good job. They did a great job of being able to evenly flow between Peter Parker, Venom, and Miles Morales. All three kind of worked really well together as character flow. And yeah, and for the open world, like I said, it just the the gameplay just flowed so well. I think it's arguably known as one of the best like flowing open world combat system and everything. I would say so.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I do think that the game has immaculate like traversal, like the web swinging feels great.
That's the word I was looking
Wingsuits
for.
feel great. The fast travel is instantaneous, which blows my mind still. So like Nate, you can switch from Peter to Miles on the click of a button, and you'll just be in like another section of the city as the other Spider-Man without a loading screen.
Yeah,
Or
like
very deceptive loading screen anyway.
like in the first game, whenever you fast traveled, it would show Peter Parker like in on a bus, and it would hit
In the
him.
PS4 version, yeah.
Not a bus, a train. It was him be like riding the New York train in a Spider-Man suit, and that would be the loading screen.
Yeah.
And this game, there basically is none.
And I would also agree with you. I think the story is good. I don't know if I like it better than 1.
They're both really good. Both stories are really good.
The only thing that I would kind of knock it for is that the content, like the side stuff, there just doesn't seem to be as much of it as there was in
I will
the
agree with
first
that.
Spider-Man game.
I will agree with
But
that.
other than that, but you know, I go back and forth on whether that's actually a problem or not, because I also got the platinum for Spider-Man 1. And when I think about going to replay that game, it's not like I would go back and replay all that side stuff again anyway. So I'm not sure if it's actually something that's missing from Spider-Man 2. But yeah, I would agree with most of what you said, though.
I do think that the Venom aspects, like when, I don't know how much spoilage this is, but like when you can use the Venom powers in the game,
That was really cool.
That was done super well.
I wish there was more of that. But
I agree.
Yeah, there was really cool.
When do we get? Come on, Sony. When do we get in the DLC? I don't think it's going to happen at this point.
I don't know, actually. I don't know.
Well, Spider-Man 1
find
got
out.
DLC, and I don't remember how long it was between.
It wasn't very long. We knew about. I think they were developing it alongside the main game, but I'm not sure what Insomniac's up to. I know they also have that Wolverine game.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about a game I'm super hyped for? Jesus, that looks. I don't even know what the gameplay looks like, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it is.
So yeah, that's my number 5. I had a feeling this would be a positive entry for basically all three of us, even though Nate's never played it. He knows what it is.
Yeah,
And he knows it's a good game.
From my understanding, it's Spider-Man, Dark Knight kind of stuff.
Right.
Or Batman game.
All right, so yeah, whoever is next, go on with your number 5.
That would be me.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Dark Knights and Batman, my number 5, we're going to keep it in the superhero realm, is Batman Arkham Knight. Do either of you have that on your list?
There goes one of my honorable mentions. So that's
Okay.
that I don't now I just lost a honorable mention. That's fine.
I figured one of you would have it on there, so I left the Batman games alone.
So
Okay,
before you
so then I'll
dive
just-
into it, I'm curious,
All right.
why did you pick Knight versus the other two?
I thought about it. Well, it's hard for me to really call Arkham Asylum an open world
Okay,
game.
that's true. A fair
because
point.
it feels a lot more self-contained.
Yeah.
Almost Metroidvania like.
See, I thought I was always in the minority of liking Knight more than Arkham City.
Okay. So that was a very big debate in my brain because I really like Arkham Knight and I really, really like Arkham City. And I don't know. There are some days where I will put one above the other and then mismatch them. But I think when it comes down to it, there's just more in Arkham Knight.
That's why I like it more.
And I don't think more content always means like more stuff equals better. But I do think Arkham Knight has good content in it. Like I think that the side stuff is good, but like not even just that, but like the traversal I feel like is more smooth. The combat is more fleshed out. I like the fear takedowns that you can do to kind of like when you're doing the sneaking missions, you can do the
Right.
fear takedowns to like take down a group of 3. And I like that you get to that like integrates Batman scaring his foes.
me.
So I think that's pretty cool. I might be in the minority. I like the Batmobile quite a bit.
I was literally about to ask you about the Batmobile.
They're not dead. Mobile.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. It's cool to drive around Gotham City in the Batmobile.
And quote unquote not kill people.
Yeah. Now, do I think it's lame that there are like as many tank missions as there are in the game? Yeah, I could done with a few less of those.
Hey, some
Do
of
I
those
think it's lame?
some of those puzzle missions are kind of cool though.
Those no. I have no problem with the puzzles. It's the mindlessly shooting other tanks in a Batman game like that.
I thought they were
feels
cool.
weird to me.
I thought it was fun.
But anyway, no, I have no problem with the tank puzzles. Those are fun. But as I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, Raceland.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I can't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, I like the Batmobile. I like driving around Gotham City. I like the team ups. There's so many parts like in the game where you get to team up with Robin and like Nightwing and Catwoman.
Don't you team up with Azrael as well?
No, you fight
think
That's the
Azrael.
other one.
You can fight Azrael, but also play as Azrael.
Yeah.
And then
You can
the
play
DLC,
as Azrael?
like
Mhm.
all the different DLCs that they added, like where you could play a short story as like Batgirl or
Red Hood.
Nightwing or Red
Catwoman.
Hood or Catwoman. Yeah, even Harley, I think.
Harley Quinn's was fun, but I remember Harley Quinn's DLC being tough because like you had to do stealth with Harley Quinn.
and just yeah, but like those are all really good additions, and that's not counting like this. They supported this game for a very long time to the point where even Robert Pattinson's Batsuit is now
that's right.
a Batsuit in the game. Like you can use his suit now.
Speaking of which, you didn't even talk about how many awesome Batsuit skins you get in that game.
yeah, there's a ton of Batsuits. There's a ton of cool skins for the Batmobile also.
I love the
that
Batmobile
you can't
skins.
really use. You can only use them in like the racing mode, but it's still pretty cool.
Even the ones that you can use outside of the racing mode, some of them are pretty cool. It's just weird
That's
seeing
true.
them on
I keep the Adam West colors on the Batmobile whenever I play.
Nate, you're a
And then-
humongous Batman fan. You're kind of quiet. I'm surprised.
Well, I enjoyed the game. I had like two kind of major negatives about the game.
Really?
But other than those two negatives, I liked the game.
What are the
well enough.
negatives?
Well, the obvious reveal of the Arkham Knight being Red Hood, like
Whoa,
Okay, yeah,
whoa,
that's-
whoa! Spoiler, dude.
Spoilers for a video game from 2015.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Like when they first announced the Arkham Knight character, they announced him as a brand new Batman character. So I was really excited to see this like actual villain Red Hood style character, and I loved the look of him. And then like halfway through, I'm like, he seems to know a lot about Batman.
Why do
yeah.
they do all these
This is-
flashbacks to Jason Todd?
Yeah, I'm like, this is Red Hood, isn't it? And then they
You know
reveal
what?
Red Hood, and I'm like, yep.
Let
okay.
me. I can fix this whole problem in like 2 seconds. Just make him Red Hood.
Yeah, like
Just have him be Red Hood from the beginning. Like
they didn't have to call him Arkham Knight. They didn't have to lie and say that he is a brand new character for
I thought
the
it was still pretty
universe. Like I said, I liked the character. I just didn't like that they tried to trick us into thinking this was a brand new character.
and you know what's
that-
crazy?
Eh.
They could still just call the game Arkham Knight, even though it's just Red Hood like the
Arkham
whole
Hood.
time.
Yeah, because
Like-
Batman is the Dark Knight of
Yeah,
like it
But no,
still would
yeah.
have worked.
I totally agree with you on that.
And the second one is I actually don't think I've ever fully beat the game because
What?
I could not do all of the Riddler.
Oh,
stuff.
that's fine.
Oh,
I haven't done
dude,
that
I-
either.
I did it. I did it.
Oh, too much
Yeah.
time. I did the main story
Well,
and a
like-
bunch of the side quests, and I was like, I think I'm about done with that.
Like, you don't get the legit ending of the game unless you do all of the Riddler stuff either, I don't think.
That's what
Well, you know what, Nate? Let me tell you why that doesn't matter. Because the next game that came out was Suicide Squad Saves the Justice League, and apparently
You're number
the
one?
ending of Arkham Knight just doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Oh, is that set in the same universe?
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
no.
supposedly,
I did not know that.
yeah.
I
It's
thought-
developed by Rocksteady. Yeah,
Well, I just thought they had, like, went into, like, a separate universe kind of thing.
hard to say.
Okay.
Ty, did you just reveal your number one on this list?
I don't think that game's open world.
Oh, I was just joking. I heard that game bombed really hard.
I don't know. Those two are the only gripes I had with that game. Everything else I enjoyed immensely. I loved the interactions between Batman and all of the characters. Oh wait, no, isn't this one also the one where they had like Batgirl with Drake?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that either. But
You know,
that was a
it's-
minor. That was
It's
a minor
kind of
thing.
surprising because I know I'm in the minority. I mean, Ty, you said you put this one sometimes above Arkham City. While Arkham City is very good, I put this one quite a lot higher than Arkham City, to be honest. I like this game way more than Arkham City.
It's difficult.
And I actually
I
don't
really
think
like Arkham City quite a bit.
I don't think I've ever gone through the entire game of Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum is my favorite in the series.
Really?
I'll stand by that. Yeah,
Okay.
I
would
really like
say-
Arkham Asylum.
One of the things I absolutely loved about all of the Batman games was the crocodile's evolution every single time.
Yeah,
No.
Killer
Like
Croc.
I just really liked that little detail. They just kept adding more and more crocodile to him.
Pretty cool. All right,
And that's
cool.
Batman Arkham Knight. So we
Awesome.
can move on.
Hey, that's a great pick, dude.
It is. Like I said, that was going to be on my list, but I'm like, one of them is going to put it on
Yeah,
there.
I figured Ty would be the one to do it too.
All right, so I guess that leaves me. My number 5 is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh, okay, San Andreas, interesting.
That is my favorite Grand Theft Auto game out of all of them. It is one of the reasons why I love that is because one of the things I like in games is being able to develop your character however you want. And it gave one of my favorite features in video games where you go to the gym,
Whoa.
you work out in the gym, and your character actually gets buff the more time you spend in the gym.
That was pretty cool.
Like, I just loved that feature. I love Grand Theft Auto games, period. But that little feature in the game just pushed it up, and I was like, oh, this should be in so many more open world and role-playing games.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy that game. I have a lot of memories of playing that co-op with my dad when I was a teenager.
Okay.
But I will say it's not my favorite GTA game.
What's your favorite?
Again, minority. I know I'm the minority guy, but I really enjoyed GTA 4.
Okay.
Ty, which one's your favorite?
GTA 5, I guess, because that's the only one I've ever played.
Oh, really?
That is the only one
Yeah.
I haven't actually played.
Really? I'm shocked on both ends. Like, Nate, I'm surprised you haven't played it. And Ty, that's the only one you've played? You didn't grow up with the PS2 GTAs?
I wasn't really interested in that stuff.
That's surprising.
Like,
That seems like like a slam dunk for you.
yeah, I don't know. There's something weird about the controls that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Dude, I remember getting those cheat codes down to unlock like chainsaws and stuff and unlimited rocket boosts. It's awesome.
Oh, I should have probably mentioned at the start of this that I'm not like a big open world game guy, so
Oh,
maybe
really?
my answers might be a little weird.
That's fine.
So you're probably not going to get any GTAs or some of the other popular ones.
That's
on here.
fine.
Well, I might contradict myself here in a minute, though. So, anyways, carry on.
The reason I haven't played 5 is because I cannot
Just
stand one of the main characters. Yeah, Trevor
The best
annoys me to
He's
no
just-
end.
The most trolliest fucking. I love that guy.
That I can't play the game.
Is it because Trevor reminds you of Raceland?
If that were true, I would stop being friends with Raceland.
I feel like
because
if
I've
I
seen
gave
how
in-
Trevor,
I feel like if I gave
treats
into
friends.
if I gave into my like mass trolliness and mass anger problems, I would
Dark
become.
Messenger.
I would be, yes, I would become Trevor.
I really hope that's an exaggeration because
We'll find
that is
out.
the shit that Trevor does is
Spoilers.
insane.
Yeah, spoilers
No,
for the game that's been on every console since 2013.
yeah. But I have played Grand Theft Auto Online. That is with 5.
Oh, see, that's the
that
part I
one
didn't like was the online part.
I really enjoyed the online part. But yeah, so my fifth one is San Andreas. It is, again, to me, one of the best Grand Theft Autos. I really like the story.
Agreed.
Love the characters. Love the new mechanic they added, which was actually improving your character and making them however you really wanted them to be. So,
Yeah, that's a great game. I have lots of fond memories of that. Good pick, good pick.
back to you, Racing.
All right.
Oh, also forgot. I did take some notes on my games, contrary to someone's belief. And so this game came out in October 2004. It is available on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and mobile, and it was developed by Rockstar Games.
Thank you, Rockstar, for that.
We really
for that
don't need all
information.
that. We really don't need all that, man.
Nope.
Brought
I
to you
took
by
notes.
your sponsor today, Rockstar.
I will say the date thing. I've noticed a trend in most of my picks about like the dates.
What are
and
they
whatnot.
all like early 2000s?
All but one of my top 5
Fantastic.
came out in October.
Oh,
Ah,
spooky season.
Raceland, you're on number 4, I believe.
All right, number 4. My number 4 could be either one of your picks. I assume it's on one of them somewhere, and that is Skyrim.
Nope.
Nope.
Wow, that shocks the heck out of me. Skyrim is the only Elder Scrolls game I've ever played.
Same.
And if you add up all the hours I've put into this on all the playthroughs I've done, because I have ADHD, I'd reset the game all the time. I've had to have put in like 500 hours into this game. It's absolutely outrageous how much time I put into this game.
I'm positive that I'm the same for me, honestly.
Yeah, I would always get to like level like 40, 50, and then I'd be like, all right, ADHD's kicking in. I'm bored of this playthrough. Time to create a whole new character and just start over. So yeah, this game's awesome. This game, everybody knows what Skyrim is at this point. Even non-video game people know what Skyrim is.
It is the game that is any game.
Right.
Considering modders keep
Oh.
making games out of it.
Dude, I sent you a TikTok recently, Nate, of a guy who modded their bow to shoot swords as arrows. I thought that was so funny. But yeah, Skyrim has ungodly amount of side quests, so much to explore. There's so many different styles of gameplay you can do. You can be a wizard, you know, any type of. There's so many different combat choices. You can start anywhere. You start the main quest and you can just be like, screw these guys, and just walk away from the dragons and just start off on your own adventure. Do it all the time. It is the pinnacle definition of an open world game, in my opinion. I would,
Join
out
a
of my
Brotherhood.
entire list, I think Skyrim is the most open world game there's on my list.
Okay. I would say that is very. Most Elder Scroll games are pretty much exactly that.
Ken never played any other ones. It's the only reference I got.
Bethesda really they do open world really well. Besides all the glitches and
you
whatnot.
just said
Yeah,
Bethesda.
besides all the glitches.
Oh yeah. You said Bethesda and just thought, oh, I know what's on Nate's list now.
It just works.
It just works until it doesn't.
Even when it
Welcome to
doesn't.
Bethesda.
But I really liked Skyrim. I've also probably put a bunch of hours into Skyrim, and very few games have quite like pulled me in so hard like that, where I just wanted to keep like exploring and existing in that world. I don't know why I didn't think of Skyrim when I was making my list, but maybe I figured somebody else would have it. So
You know, it's crazy.
There we go.
This game came out in 2011, and it is now. We still don't have a new Elder Scrolls game.
No, but you can play it on your toaster now.
Right.
You can play it on your fridge as well.
No, but it's to your point, Ty, is that it came out in 2011, and if I play this game now and I go to it, I'll still find areas I've like where I don't think I've ever been here.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that. If you want to talk about peak open worldness, if you're playing the game 15 years later almost, and you're still finding new things, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy like a fox.
What does the fox say?
Oh no.
I don't know, but
All right, that's my number 4. We're gonna move on.
my number 4 is probably on Nate's list, but it's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes, that is on my list, so I am substituting one of my honorable mentions for it. So
Was that your number 1?
yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be your number 1.
Okay. Well, how about we could just wait to talk about it?
No,
till-
that's fine. Like I said, I have 3 honorable mentions. I can
Okay.
just sub them
All
out.
right. All right. Red Dead Redemption 2. Nate, I'm gonna let you take this one since it's your number 1.
Red Dead
I'll
Redemption.
step in later.
Okay. It is a beautiful, it is the most beautiful game I have ever played.
So this is your favorite game of all time, basically?
No.
Oh.
But it is like, it has the most beautiful scenery, a very compelling story, really well thought out characters. This game, I slept on it for a very, very long time. I bought it.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
I bought it, I think, in 2020 when it came on sale on Steam.
I think it's more sooner than that. Wasn't it like 2 years ago you started this game?
No, I bought it.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't play it until like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. I'm honestly not sure. But in that time, I have put in, for the single player, 181.3 hours.
Jeez. Ty,
For
do you match that at all?
I don't think so because I played it on PS4 and I can't look at it right now.
Gotcha.
For the online mode, I put in 410.7
Jesus
hours.
Christ, dude.
So for a total of 592 hours of this game, I have dedicated my
Folks,
life.
he has a life. He
Okay.
assures me he has a life.
So I don't want to hear about my Riddler trophies ever again.
What are you talking about? I never spoke anything bad about your Riddler trophies.
I'm talking to Raceland
What I say?
when I say this. But anyway, I echo a lot of things that you said. It really is one of the most jaw-droppingly like beautiful video games that I've ever played. From the swampy like southern regions to up in the mountains in the snow, like
and the desert regions to the west.
the desert regions, all the animals move like real animals sometimes when they're not glitching out.
It's one of the few games where you could literally just be riding your horse, stop, look around, take a screenshot, and that's your background for your computer.
Yeah, it's a very, very pretty game. The gameplay is fun, if not a bit frustrating sometimes.
I will agree with that.
I think that the shooting in Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto is not something I'll ever be used to. But in Red Dead, the reason I would have Red Dead on here, and I think why that gravitates more to me than something like Grand Theft Auto, is the Western setting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a few games that try to get this feeling of this era of history that didn't really exist. But it looks good in movies.
Yeah, it exists in our imagination.
Yeah. But I think Rockstar, especially with Red Dead 2, oh my god, they just nail that Western look so good.
They have the badass grit feel.
They do. And I don't think anyone, did you mention the story?
I said it was a compelling story.
Oh my gosh.
One that just draws you in.
Compelling story, I feel like, is an understatement. I really think this is one of the most well-written video games of all time. Sure.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is.
I mean, it's not like
agree.
games have the biggest, like the deepest stories to begin with, but this one, it feels very movie-like to me, and I think that's another reason I really like this game is because I'm a big movie guy, and this has that cinematic. Okay, this is what makes it special. It has that cinematic look and feel without sacrificing the gameplay.
Yeah, I agree. The side quests feel like fully fleshed out and like they're a part of the world.
Yes,
it is. Oh man, it is such a.
It's a great video game.
It is one of the few video games where I was very tempted to play a bad guy after I did my first playthrough as a good guy, simply because I wanted to see what the story would be like if I did that.
Yeah.
And like I didn't do it because I don't really have much fun playing bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, oh man, it was very tempting.
I have not much to say on this game because I do own this game. I do love the cowboy era, as you were saying, Ty. I've tried to get into this game 3 times, and every time I do, I just get bored and I turn it off.
It's a bit of a slow start, I'll admit that.
I think that's another thing. If I look at my PlayStation and it tells you, shows how many hours, I think I want to say maybe 20, maybe. And I don't know how far that is into the story, but
I think you would still be in the mountains on the prologue.
I think so. And it's just like, I want it to be as fun as it is. And it's the same thing with GTA. I think as I've gotten older, because now I'm in my 30s and stuff, GTA, I've tried replaying it because I bought the old school GTA collection they remade, and it doesn't appeal to me as it did when I was a teenager. I think a lot of that's just because my tastes are different now, and I think that's why I don't click with Red Dead as much, because it's not the style of game I enjoy now.
I think it's funny. And maybe it's because Westerns are an old people thing, but the older I get, the more I appreciate them.
Yeah, I just think
I've always appreciated them.
I don't
because
think
you were born old, my friend.
I don't think it's the game style I like anymore, and I think that's another reason why I can't get into it.
Yeah, obviously I love customizing and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know it's a little bit of a shock, but
I'm shocked.
I love customizing pretty much anything and everything I can in any video game. And Red Dead lets you customize so many things that you can customize your horse, your guns, your character, even your camp by upgrading your camp and stuff.
The camp system's so cool, and the hunting and like skinning the animals and making furs and stuff. It's just it's a very cool game with a well-written story and beautiful graphics.
God, you guys are getting a boner over there.
It makes you feel like an outdoorsman when you're not really an outdoorsman.
I went over there and I hunted and wrangled up some deer and stuff.
I hate hunting. I hate fishing in real life. But in that game, I can spend hours doing both of them and be like,
it's peaceful, bro.
This is amazing.
It's peaceful. Whatever. Anyways, that's my number 4. That's Red Dead Redemption 2. No, we don't have anything negative to say about it.
This is the thing earlier. So it's available on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia.
No, it's not available on Stadia.
It was.
Yeah, it was when Stadia existed.
I don't even know what Stadia is.
It's
used to
like
be a gaming thing.
streaming thing.
Oh,
but don't worry
I've
about
never
it.
heard of it.
Anyways, that's my number
It
4.
failed.
Nate, what's your number 4?
So my number 4, I'll just go ahead and switch out my honorable mention real quick. Is Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, you've raved about this game for
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Developed by Insomniac Games, came out in October 2014.
He's
It
got them
is-
stats.
Underrated, in my opinion.
It is very underrated because nobody knows about it.
Yeah, I understand why it's underrated because it came out in a time where several other much bigger games came out. And it was an Xbox exclusive, still is, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's not on PlayStation or Nintendo or anything.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
Xbox only.
But oh man, it is a genuinely fun game where when I play it, it's just shut off my brain and have fun. If you like the old Tony Hawk skating games, it has that in this. If you like shooting games, it has that in this. If you like crazy, wacky Deadpool style personality and humor, it has that in this. If you like pop culture references that are insane, it has that
In the
in there.
membrane.
Insane in the membrane. Like one of my favorite things in it is the death sequences. So when you die and you come back from the dead in this game, it always has a different pop culture reference kind of thing. So like one of them is your casket rises from the ground and it opens up and you walk out like a zombie and then you shake it off and you're alive again. Or I think one is like you are in the phone booth of Bill and Ted and it pops up and you're actually from the future or the past or whatever.
That's
You're
kinda
live.
cool.
Like they have all these different zany little comebacks for your death sequences.
Nate, haven't you told me in the past that there's like tons of customization in this game too?
There is not so I actually went back and played. It's not as much as I'm pretty sure Nostalgia Filter kind of covered it. It's not as extensive as I originally thought. There is still a lot to do, but it's not like you can pick your colors and whatnot. It's basically just pick outfits and they have color palettes for those outfits. Like my character always wore a pompadour, a t-shirt, and a gun, like a shoulder holster with a banana in it. It's just a really fun, stupid game.
So I've not played Sunset Overdrive, but I've heard you talk about it.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yes. Yes.
It is interesting to note that this is the second Insomniac game that we've talked about tonight on the podcast, with the first being Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting to note that Insomniac did Ratchet and Clank,
Oh, I love
and then they did Spider-Man, and then this is in the middle of that, and then this is my kind of like the transitionary game to get from point A to point B, because this has the wacky guns like Ratchet and Clank, and it is the open world like Spider-Man was going to be. So it's interesting to look at like their progress as a game studio.
It is
That's all I'm
interesting
saying.
that Insomniac developed Ratchet and Clank, which was a PlayStation exclusive. Same with Spider-Man, but then they made an Xbox exclusive game.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just when
and
you
then I think-
told me that, it just kind of stood out.
I think Sony ended up buying Insomniac.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is why they never did one of the reasons
Nate,
why
they'll
they probably
never
did
make
a
another
sequel.
one.
I know. I've given up hope.
Never
on
say never.
another Sunset Overdrive, but it is one I will always recommend people to play simply out of pure fun. Everyone who I know has actually played the game has nothing bad to say about it, and I don't think I've ever seen a bad review about it either.
Interesting.
It's just
I'll see if I can find one.
You'll find one eventually. It's the internet.
It's just a game that came out during a time where a lot of other big name games were coming out. It kind of got lost.
Yeah. Cool. Good pick, man.
So that is my fourth pick.
Is it back to me?
It's back to you, buddy.
All right. My number 3 is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Okay.
So when it comes to open world Assassin's Creed games, there's a lot of factors to choose from. There's only like 3 of them at this point. Like if I was gonna pick the best overall gameplay and combat, I would pick Odyssey. But if I'm gonna pick the story's kind of lacking there. But if I was gonna pick my favorite story, I'd pick Valhalla out of the open world games. But the game that does a great job of blending both categories for me is Origins. I think it has a fantastic story and really good gameplay combat stuff. So that's why I picked this one out of the 3.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Origins was the first attempt for an open world Assassin's Creed game. I know a lot of people come at this game and the new games with either they love it or they hate it. There's not really a middle ground, I've noticed on the internet at least. And I like it. I like it a lot. I enjoy both styles of gameplay, but Origins out of the 3 is far superior in my opinion, mostly because of the story. The story's really good, but Valhalla does a better job like with certain things, but overall the story's very good. It's basically a giant revenge story, which if you know me, Nate, you know me. I like revenge.
He has vengeance in his heart.
It is.
And it just does a good job of that. You can customize you can customize certain things, like every newer Assassin's Creed game, you can get like different outfits and stuff. I like that aspect. I like that there's like this entire cult that you have to hunt down. So they give you there's tons of side quests. You got so much content to do. You could either just, do the main story, be done with the game, or you can hunt down every cult member and unlock everything and get the true ending type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it also does a great job of like going back and forth between modern world and ancient Egypt. They at least they didn't just abandon it like some of the other games of recent times.
Yeah, I've put about I think 8 hours into this.
Ooh, you're real far.
And the only reason I stopped playing it was because a game that I had been really waiting for had come out at the time, and I just hadn't gotten back to it yet.
Yoshi's Epic Yarn.
Oh man, you know it. So yeah, Origins, when I played it, it was a lot of fun. And I was a little worried, like you said, about it being like an open world kind of thing. But honestly, I thought it enhanced it. It made it a little bit more
it's a double-edged sword. It has its negatives and its positives.
But also, I'm a big open world fan.
Right.
So like to me, it was a plus. It made it better for me. Story wise, I mean, I was only 8 hours in. I don't think I really got very far in the story yet.
So
I was
good.
mainly, you know me, I get sidetracked very easily when it comes to side stories. I can take months to do like 1% of the main story of a game. So
that's very true.
Yeah, when I played this, it was a really fun game. So I think it's a good pick.
Ty, have you even played this game?
Nope.
So nothing to say about this at all.
Egypt is cool.
That's another plus. Like, when it comes to Assassin's Creed games, most people pick based on either they think the main character's cool looking or it's the setting. And I think it hits both of them because Bayek is very cool looking and ancient Egypt is such a great setting. And you get a camel, so you get to ride around on a camel.
Camels are cool. Pyramids are cool.
I know they had like chocobos as a DLC.
Oh, that's right.
Chocobos are cool.
I forgot this one does have Final Fantasy mixed in as DLC. You're totally right.
Might not be the last time we talk about chocobos tonight.
No, but this one also introduced where you get to fight like gods and stuff, which I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of that part because it was like,
I'm all for that.
Well,
I think that's cool.
It's cool, but it's like it was the first time they were straying away from traditional Assassin's Creed, and that's very straying in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like people with magic apples and stuff in the past. Who cares?
I get it, but it's just like, well, okay, we're fighting like a giant crocodile god.
I get weird. Yeah, I love Crocodile God.
So yeah, that's my number
Anyway.
3. I could have 3 Assassin's Creed games on this list, but I only decided to put one on here.
Yeah.
And you picked that one for its story. You like the story. You really like the story in that one. You said.
I like the story in that one. I like the story overall in Valhalla better, but this one blends both combat and story together well.
Well, guess what? Because my number 3 is next, and my game has no story.
Okay.
It's well, very minimum in my opinion.
Okay.
And my number 3 is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh boy.
Is that on anyone else's list?
Not on my list. You know that.
Never played it.
All right.
So
All right. So let's talk about Breath of the Wild, but first let's talk about Tears of the Kingdom. Did either of you play Tears of the Kingdom?
I have not
Nate.
played Tears of the Kingdom. Hey, I'm
Okay.
full awareness. I'm going to try to be nice, Ty. All right.
Okay, good, because I'll come for you. You know,
Especially when it
come
goes
for me,
to
I'll
Tears
come
of
for
the
you.
Kingdom.
Listen, no, Tears of the Kingdom. No, I have nothing. I don't have very much nice to say about that one.
That game looks terrible.
Tears of the Kingdom could not hold my attention the way Breath of the Wild did. I'm
very glad I
did
didn't
about-
spend money on that game.
I did about no. People love that game. It's just not for me because I don't want to build things. in
That's
my
why
contraption.
that was literally the reason why I chose not to buy it.
Like, so the reason I really like Breath of the Wild is I've been a Zelda fan for most of my life,
Right, me too.
and Breath of the Wild was coming out when the last mainline, like, non-handheld Zelda game was Skyward Sword,
Which
a
is
game that I do not think is very fun to play, even
Wow.
with this new Switch version.
Wow.
Nintendo was still back on
Slander.
its motion control bullshit thing that they were
Shut
trying to do. And it wasn't working for me, and it wasn't working for a lot of people.
I
So-
can't even do the argument of like, without Skyward Sword, you wouldn't have Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like, oh, that he doesn't like Tears. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is a little too much like Skyward Sword.
I know.
But listen. So Breath of the Wild ended up being such a breath of fresh air after Skyward Sword. You know, at the time the game felt like they always have that what's the guy? I think it's Todd Howard, who's like, you see that mountain? You can go there.
yeah.
And technically you can in his video games, but it's gonna take you. But like Breath of the Wild, no, you can go there and then you can climb on top of that mountain as much as you want. Like it felt like one of the most open world games that I ever played when I played it.
I will give you that.
And,
My 8-year-old absolutely loves this game.
I love this game. It's not a traditional Zelda at all. Not really.
I'll put my opinion in a second.
But I don't think that something being different necessarily makes it bad or makes it a bad version of this. Like a black sheep, I should say, which I guess it kind of isn't a black sheep anymore because
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom has come out. Although this new Zelda game where you play as Zelda looks cool.
So
But anyways, Breath
Oh,
of the
go ahead.
Wild.
Go ahead.
So I like the shrines so much that I did all of them so I could get Link's classic outfit. I don't care about the Korok seeds because apparently all they do is give you like Korok poop or something at the end.
What?
I got all the heart pieces and everything. I really enjoyed playing Breath of the Wild. It was a great relaxation game for me because there wasn't much of a plot, so I didn't have to pay too much attention, and the puzzles were
You fight Ganon at some point.
yeah, you fight Ganon at some point because he's bad, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. It they're really not concerned about it, and you shouldn't be either. But
According
yeah, the
to
gameplay.
what I've learned about Breath of the or Tears of the Kingdom, the ending of Breath of the Wild doesn't even matter. So
Yeah, and yeah. So I love almost everything about this game. I hate the weapons breaking. It
Yeah.
is my least favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't care for the stamina, but at least I can upgrade that. Even the Master Sword breaks in that game. Are you fucking kidding me, Nintendo?
Weapons breaking is like one of my least favorite
Yeah.
game mechanics.
You know, I can get real life for free. I'm trying to play a video game to
Yeah.
escape.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna put my 2 cents in really fast about Breath of the Wild because I've stated it in multiple videos in the past.
Yeah,
Breath,
yeah.
No, listen, I'm not gonna shit all over it. Breath of the Wild, I do think, agreed. It is a fun game. I put in over 50 hours into this game because I did some of the side stuff and I did the main quest and I was pretty much done. But overall, it is a fun open world RPG. It's not a Zelda game. It's just an open world RPG with Zelda elements.
Nah, it's a Zelda game.
Nah,
yeah,
I get what you're saying because it is technically a Zelda game.
Because Hyrule Warriors is one of your favorite Zelda games, and
Hyrule
that is even
Warriors
less of
is
a Zelda
more of a
game.
Zelda game than
You're out of your fucking mind.
Hyrule
Nate, what's your
Warriors.
number three?
No, listen, Hyrule Warriors at least has classic Zelda shit in it, and you can play as classic Zelda characters.
Yeah, too bad it's not a Zelda game because the gameplay isn't anything to do with Zelda.
Neither is Breath of the Wild. Continue,
Wrong.
Mr. Weapon Break.
Well, yeah, that's stupid. Anyway, go on, Nate.
I got nothing to say. I've not
No,
played.
no. What's your number 3?
Oh, my number 3. Okay, well,
We're
let's,
just gonna argue the whole time.
let's get out of Zelda for a moment.
Yeah, shouldn't have
and
even put it on the list.
No, it's fine.
pop on back over to Bethesda.
Oh, I knew this was coming.
So, what do you think it's gonna be?
It
Race of the
one of the Fallouts.
No.
Wow. Okay.
It is Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Another
Came out
game
in
I've never played.
2000 Came out in 2002. And as we
right after
as you
9/11.
mentioned, yeah.
Way to go, Nate.
Oh, okay. So as you both mentioned earlier, you've only played Skyrim, right?
Skyrim.
Yeah, I only played Skyrim.
Yep.
Morrowind, to me, is a way better story than Skyrim.
Really? Do you get to
like-
shout at people?
No.
Oh,
Other
not
dragons?
better.
Okay, that's a feature, not really.
I want a Fruits Fada all over people, okay?
Now, here's the thing. One of the things I wasn't really happy about Skyrim was that I really didn't like either of the factions that you could join up with, and the end game, like the way to complete the game, not a big fan of how to beat the game either.
Nate, it sounds like you
Um,
weren't an adventurer. I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow to the knee.
Well, Morrowind, the adventure was still an adventure, and then he took the arrow to the knee. So, yeah, Morrowind follows the tribunal, the three gods that you actually get to meet in the game. You actually get to meet gods and talk to them and go on quests for them. It is like obviously Skyrim is better like game mechanics wise because it's a newer game and they had a lot better.
You didn't get to
stuff.
meet a dragon god, so
Actually, I think you do.
Oh.
I think the main big bad is like a dragon demon god. It is, like I said, mainly the reason I liked this over Skyrim was story.
Makes
Everything else, Skyrim pretty much beats it because, again, obviously Skyrim just has way more to offer in terms of gameplay wise. But the overall arching world it really pulls you in. And while Skyrim's like, oh, you're the Dragonborn and all this, The Morrowind game, you are a chosen one that everyone has heard of, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, prove it." Like you don't have a yell that shows that you're the Dragonborn. You're just a person with a birthmark, and they're like, "Okay, prove that you're the chosen one." So it's actually a little bit more challenging to get factions to follow you, and all these things.
But does it have Cicero?
I don't think so. Actually, I don't think we do.
You know, Nate. Morrowind is pretty good, but I think Daggerfall's a little bit better.
Daggerfall did introduce werewolves, so I kind of agree with you on that. But Morrowind did bring back werewolves with its DLC Blood Moon, which was an entire DLC focused on becoming a werewolf.
Sounds
And
like
Skyrim.
Yeah, that's it.
Had
Sounds like
werewolves
that.
in the base game.
Yeah.
I know. And then I will say, Skyrim does the werewolf mechanics so much better, and the
Hell yeah,
story.
bro.
The story, I would say equals to Blood Moon's story for becoming a werewolf. But yeah, like I said, Skyrim offers a lot more game mechanics wise. Story wise, however, I gotta go with Morrowind.
All right.
So
Fair enough.
that's mine.
Okay.
Next is Raceland.
Is it back to
Number
me?
2.
All right. My number 2 is a game that no one's ever played on this. Out of the two of you, neither one of you have ever played this game. It came
No
out.
one in the history.
I know. Shut up. It originally came out on the Wii, but it was only in Japan, and then they brought a definitive edition to the Switch, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've told me about this. I haven't played it.
Sounds like a lot of power. It's Shulk. Yeah, the guy from Smash Bros. That everybody doesn't know who he is.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, but Xenoblade Chronicles.
I'm really feeling it.
Yeah.
Dude with the funny sword.
Yeah. So Xenoblade Chronicles, because of Smash Bros, I was like, I gotta see what this game is all about. So I bought the game, didn't know anything about it, and I was pleasantly surprised. Thank God it was good because I spent like $40 on it, and the game is great. Like it's one of my favorite JRPG stories of all time, to be completely honest, and it is mostly because of how absolutely fantastic the story is. The characters are all great. There's I think there's 7 or 8 party members that you can rotate out. I will say, if you ever look up the reviews of this game, the reviews are usually pretty good, but the most negative comment that everybody has is the combat, because the combat is the strangest combat I've ever played in any JRPG. And it's because, how do I explain it? It's like when you get into combat, you get this list that pops up, but it's not turn-based. It's a hack and slash, sort of, because you have these buttons come up that you can do while attacking. It's really hard to explain. It's just you just gotta see.
Kind of MMO.
Yeah, sorta.
Kind of sounds like Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, it's you're not too far off. I've actually played a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles before, and the combat is kind of what killed it for me.
Right, and that's what most people say is if they can't handle the combat, they usually give it up. But
it's just too slow for me.
I love it. Oh, okay, Mr. Red Dead slow intro.
Yeah, but that's
the story, man, and the gameplay is so beautiful, and the story, the characters are just
okay.
So
We're done with that. All right. Anyways, Xenoblade Chronicles, the story is what sells it for me, honestly, because basically, there's not much spoilage here. You're basically in a giant war. It's like JRPG stuff. You're in a giant war with these machines. And you're supposed to be one of the chosen heroes, again, JRPG stuff, with this crazy
to rage against them.
Yeah. No, you get this this sword that can enhance Shulk in different ways. You got speed, power, all the stuff you see in Smash Bros.
Raceland, I have a question for Nate, real quick.
Okay.
Just don't give him the answer. Nate, what do you think the sword is called in this game?
Oh, I have no clue.
In this game called Xenoblade Chronicles, what do you think the sword is called?
I guess Xenoblade.
No, it's called the Monado for some reason.
Yep, it sure
Monado?
is. The Monado.
Yeah, it's not the Xenoblade.
I really want Nate to see a picture of Riki. His name, I think his name is Riki. It's like it's the little yellow guy.
Pikachu?
I
No,
am looking at it. He looks like a fucking what's that Digimon's name?
yeah, that's a great way to describe him. He looks like a Digimon. That's 100% right. And there's an
I don't know what
entire
that Digimon's name
tribe.
is.
There's an entire tribe of these guys.
All right.
But yeah, this game's great. Like I said, it's one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. That's my number 2.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. I guess I'm next.
You're up.
We'll keep it in the JRPG
Oh
section.
boy.
Because my number 2 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, a game that came out this year,
I haven't played it yet.
just a couple months ago, actually. Well, February. And it's it turns a game that I love, which is the original Final Fantasy VII, and it gives it that open world treatment. You're not getting the full game because this is like part 2 out of 3, but you're getting a very long game. I mean, this game is easily longer than the original FF7.
So, real quick, would Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one that they did, that would not be considered an open world, right?
I would say no, because that game is very linear in the way that you
Right.
proceed. Like, when you want to go back to a place that you've been before, you have to actually go back to, like, the chapter where you were there.
Right.
Whereas this has lots of massive areas that are not technically, like, one-to-one connected with each other, but you literally just, like, walk onto a plane to get to the next area, and it has enough open-world features that I am willing to consider.
I've seen it on other
This,
lists. I've seen it on open world lists.
I mean, there's towers that you have to activate to get waypoints on your map. That's the most open world thing in
Right,
the world.
of course.
But
It's definitely a game that's been on my wish list that I really need to get.
it's really good. It's hard to recommend to people that are not like diehard FF7 fans because it is so different from the original game, but you're still very much rewarded if you played the original game by references and
Oh, see, I actually think that's a positive for me. I've never played the original FF7, and I very much enjoyed the remake, the first one, because it was
Yeah.
my first experience. I know people will be like, "Well, you need to go play the original," and I could probably should, but
No, you
because
definitely
because I never played the original, it was all brand new to me. So I had
Yeah.
nothing to compare it to. So if it was something negative, I didn't know.
anyway, yeah, fair enough. But so remake was an open world, but Rebirth is. They basically take the combat from remake and kind of diversify it even more so than it was before. It kind of refines what was there, adds new stuff, and adds more variety of stuff because you get a couple of extra party members in this one. Like Red 13 and Yuffie are both playable in this one.
That was gonna be my question because the original one, the remake, you could only play as Cloud. I didn't know if you could.
Well, you could play as Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, and Aerith.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if you could.
Technically.
I didn't know if it was like you could swap between anybody.
Well, I should say you play as them like in combat. But,
Okay.
like whenever combat ends, control goes back to Cloud. And now that I'm thinking
Got it.
about it, I don't remember if they changed that in Rebirth or not because it's been so long since I played it. But
Gotcha.
the combat is better in Rebirth. And last but not least, hearing like orchestrated versions of songs from the PS1 game, it's just very cool to like hear this music cleaned up and reinterpreted in a way that makes it sound like on par with video game music in the modern age. And if there's one negative I'll put against it is there's too much of it.
Really?
There's too much. There's too much video game here.
That's usually not a bad thing.
There's so much open world stuff and like mini games and side quests, and it really stretches the game out, and you get your money's worth. Like if you're one of those people that's concerned about buying short games now, this is not a short video game, and if you really want to get your money's worth, it's in there for you. I think there's a little too much of that for me. I found myself completing areas at the beginning of the game when I was playing, but then once the story really started going, I'm here. I'm here for Final Fantasy for the story.
Right. That makes sense.
Like the gameplay being awesome is great, but I'm mostly a story guy. And once the pacing of the plot got going, it was hard for me to keep going and doing those open world stuff on the side. So I kind of quit doing that. But it's an open world game, and I really, really like it, so it's on my list.
Makes sense. All right. Cool.
That's my number 2.
Good pick, man. Nate?
All right. So, my next one is State of Decay 2.
Oh, okay.
I've never even heard of
heard
this
of it.
game.
Came out May 2018, developed by Undead Labs. And between Steam and my Xbox, I have put in 175.3 hours in it.
Jesus Christ, Nate.
It is a open world zombie game where you play not as a singular survivor, but as a group of survivors that are randomly generated with like different traits and stuff.
Okay.
And what you do is to go through the story, you go from base to base, you build up the base, you go out and you scavenge parts, build up the base, and then you can assign survivors to different tasks while you're at your base, while you take control of one of them.
This doesn't
and go
sound
out
like an
into
open
the-
world game.
Well, you take control of one character and you can go out into the world and fight zombies and stuff, and do missions. You can recruit other people. You can meet factions. There's a lot going on in the game, but it is a genuinely fun zombie game.
Okay.
It's almost like if Left 4 Dead type of zombies were an open world kind of thing.
That's an interesting concept. I just can't picture it very well.
It is a very odd thing to be able, because like you'll be driving down the road and you'll come across a building where it might be a abandoned pharmacy. You go in for medicine. Inside might be a howling zombie which would lure in the other zombies. So you want to take it out before it even notices you and alerts the other zombies. Or they have these things that are like, I think they call them hearts. It's been a bit since I played it, but I think they're called hearts, which are like giant zombie generating nests that are inside some of the buildings. And that's how you kind of clear out an area for your open world, is you have to go in, take out one of the hearts, and it opens up that area for you, and then it expands onto your open world.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a fun game. There's not really much else to say about it. It is, you can drive a car, you can get all these different weapons, you can equip those weapons with different modifications. You get different backpacks, which allows you to carry more supplies, or different types of backpacks, so different types of supplies. You can have you can build a radio in your base, which will then pick up signals from other survivors around the world, and then you can drive out and try to either help those survivors or screw them over so you can get their supplies for the rest of your survivors.
There we go. Screw him over.
Yes, obviously, that's what I did. No, I always tried to save as many people as I could.
What a saint.
Sadly, that did teach me a lesson that you can't save everybody, because you have a certain number of space in your base. So even if I save everybody, I will have to turn them away from my base. So I'm pretty much just not really saving them.
Way to kill people, Nate.
Yeah, it made me sad actually after I did that.
And this is your number 2?
Yeah, that's
You
what I was saying.
monster.
Well, yeah, it's my number 2 because it's an
I
open
love
world.
screwing people over.
No, it's an open world, but it's not just an open world. It's an open world with a lot of different features. The only thing that I would say against it is that you can't customize your characters without like mods and stuff. They are purely randomly generated. There are like, I think they did a DLC where they had like pre-made characters, so those aren't randomly generated. But for the most part, whenever you come across survivors that are joining your crew, they are randomly generated.
Interesting.
And they'll have like traits that there's like neat, so they're good to have in your base because they'll keep the base clean, less disease spreading, so less likely of chance of getting the zombie virus. Or kleptomaniac, where you'll start randomly losing some of your supplies because they're just stealing them and doing whatever they want with them. So you have to take into account what survivors you want in your base and whatnot.
All right. That sounds like a very interesting game. I never would have figured this would be on your list.
It is a game I played for a real long time. I played the second one first, and then I played the first one.
That's out of order, Nate.
Well, because the story-wise, they're about the same time. The first one is technically set at the start of the zombie apocalypse, but it's in a different area. So the second game, story-wise, has nothing to do with the first one.
Huh.
And I am waiting for State of Decay 3, which was announced a couple of years ago, and I think they just released a new trailer like half a year ago.
You'll get it in like 2029.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. Or it'll be canceled.
There you go.
So,
Perfect.
that's my number 2.
All right, cool. Is it me?
Raceland, this is your number 1, yeah.
Well,
or your honorable mention.
yeah, I got 2 quick honorable mentions. I'm just going to breeze through them really fast. One of them is the very underrated game, in my opinion, and it's Far Cry Primal. Far Cry Primal is, I think, the most underrated Far Cry game because it's the most that strays away from traditional Far Cry. Does a really good job. I like that they could put a story into a game where they just grunt all the entire game. I thought that was really interesting, and the combat's really fun. And then my other one is Horizon Zero Dawn. What a great, brand new idea for a video game franchise. There hasn't really been that many games that are anywhere near as similar to this game. And,
I was waiting for you to mention that one.
Yeah, it's in my honorable mentions, and it's just a really fun game. I really enjoy the main character, and I enjoy the combat. It's
Aloy.
Yeah,
I like the concept of it.
Well, yeah, like I said, it was a really good original idea, and we don't have a lot of original ideas when it comes to movies, TV shows, video games anymore.
I'm going to clap back for Breath of the Wild now and say that I am so sick of seeing Horizon stuff, though.
Oh, come on.
I wish they would give that series a break because I feel like it's so quick came
Aren't
out
they
from
getting
that
a
series.
Lego game now?
I mean, there's
now
only
they are.
technically 2 games and then a VR.
VR, now there's a Lego game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
The Lego game surprised me.
Me too.
DLCs might as well be another game.
Hey, you know what? When it works, all right?
Anyway, I was just clapping back since, the Zelda stuff. But go on.
All right, so we'll get to my number 1. And we mentioned Far Cry already, and my number 1 is not Far Cry 3. It is Far Cry 5.
Ah, the American one.
Yes, there are many Far Cry games to choose from, and they're all super fun, but Far Cry 5 has the coolest story, and is the one I had, honestly, the most fun with. While the villain isn't going to be as iconic as Voss from Far Cry 3, Jacob is still a fantastic villain. I don't know if either one of you, much you've put into this game, or have even played it, but the villains are very interesting in this game. Have you guys played this game?
I've never played a Far Cry game in my life.
I think I stopped playing Far Cry at Far Cry 3.
Okay.
Before.
Basically, the villains in this are religious fanatic nut jobs who imprison this entire town. That's the whole thing. Is that like it's like a I forget what state it's in, man, but it's like they board off this entire part of the state, and that's where the entire game is played at. And they took it over by using like this drug they call Bliss, where it's supposed to just poison the people and make them feel like they're going to heaven, basically. And your whole point is that the military is trying to take these guys out, and they can't even take out all the religious redneck fanatics and all that stuff. It's such a weird concept, but it works stupidly well. And the whole point is like the main character, he got screwed over by Jacob, and he just wants to kill his whole family. The combat's really great. The setting's really great. There's so many different guns. You can have, you can train pets. Like you'll have side missions where there'll be like this dog, and if you rescue this dog and do certain things with this dog, all of a sudden he becomes one of your partners, and you can use these animals to like help take down enemies or help them scout ahead. There's like tons of different pets you can get in this game. And of course, you got the open world trope of hunting down towers, unlocking the map stuff. It's just such a fun game, and it's one of my favorite games. Like if we're talking open world games, it's my favorite one, and my favorite Far Cry. It's really high up there. I really enjoy this game.
I think this is the one where I had the endings spoiled for me.
Makes sense. I don't
It
know.
was like on a list of like games where your happy ending is not a happy ending.
Oh no, yeah, you can. It is one of those games where there is a choice at the end, and if you make the wrong one, you made the wrong choice. Like you're gonna get the bad ending for sure.
But like even if you did the good ending, it's not a good ending.
It's a better ending. Let's put it that way.
I guess.
That's fine. It's one of those. Put it this way, Ty. It's one of those games where when you beat quote unquote the game, how it makes you be able to continue the game is it's like, by the way, we're reversing time, and it's like, you haven't actually fought the final boss yet, type of games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a great game. It has great DLC. Basically the DLC is its own miniature Far Cry game. The DLC. There's two different ones I can think of. One of them throws you into like a video game, like arcade style game, and the other one throws you into the Vietnam War.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Sounds like a fun time.
yeah, it's fun. So yeah, Far Cry 5, my number one. Such a fun game.
All right. I guess that
Yeah,
means, that's me.
Ty, you got
I
any
have a
honorable
couple-
mentions at all?
Yeah, I got some late honorable mentions. I don't think anybody's going to have Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain on their list.
Nope.
It's probably arguable on the open worldness of it, but the parts of it that are open are very, very open, and that game lets you do things that I've never seen any other video game do, like attach balloons to trucks and lift them away.
What?
Really fun game.
Metal Gear Solid is a franchise I've been dying to get into because I heard it's super good, but I heard it's really confusing. And
It is.
Kingdom Hearts fan, you'll be fine.
and
No,
and
it's worse.
yeah, and I've heard that it's like you have to play every single game in order, or if you try to skip any of them, it'll fuck everything up.
Yeah, don't play them in chronological order either, because
Oh,
it'll
really?
spoil things for. Yeah, play them in the order they came out, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Because I was like, I heard the game you're talking about, was it Metal Gear Solid 5? When I heard that game was on PS4, I was like, okay, this actually looks good. And then I went to the reviews, and they're like, yo, if you haven't played another game, don't even bother starting this game up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's super
Okay.
confusing, but the game is really, really fun.
Okay.
Other honorable mentions. I'm just gonna put Jack 2 and Jack 3.
Yeah!
They're pretty
Jack
kind of
2's
open. And then every other Spider-Man game that was open world, those were all pretty good. Also,
GTA Jack.
but my number one, and it's probably not very surprising, is Elden Ring.
Okay, that makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah.
I honestly forgot about that on open world games.
I pretty much figured that was going to be your number one.
Elden Ring is a game that I'm addicted to. The very first Souls game to really hook me enough that I had to actually get good so that I could keep playing it
Look at
instead
you.
of just quitting. And now I'm on New Game Plus like 2
Whoa, that's
right
crazy.
now.
Plus-
So I've beaten the game
Where
at least 3 times.
Where's your hours played? Where were you at?
I was going to bring that up. According to Steam, I have played 323.8 hours of Elden Ring.
Jesus, man.
I think that's
And,
about as much as I put in GTA Online.
And what's crazy is they just have a DLC come out a couple months ago that's as big as like the game itself. So I've played a lot of that as well. Boss fights are something that I look forward to. Yeah, it's just a really fun game. I know neither of you have played it or ever will. But
I don't enjoy Souls games. I actively hate them. So when everybody freaks out about Elden Ring, I get it. I know that it's a great game. I know people really love it. It's just not for me.
fair enough. But yeah, that's my number one. So
All right.
I think that's a good pick. I have seen other people play it, and it does look really fun. I know I'm not that good, and I don't feel like putting in the time to get good.
yeah,
Same.
fair enough.
Same.
So I guess that leaves me. The only other honorable mention I have is, or two of them, is first one came out in October 2019 by Obsidian Entertainment, The Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is.
It is Fallout in space plus capitalism. It is just a stupid, fun adventure game. And the extremes it goes to for like showing the horrors of capitalism it cracks me up every time I play it. People literally having to rent out their graves after they die, or else their corpses will be dug up because they couldn't pay their rent. Oh man, such a funny game. So, and then we have Saints Row 2, which was developed by Volition
Not surprised it's on here.
and came out in October 2008. It is, personally, I like the story of San Andreas better, but the game mechanics and the quirkiness of the Saints Row games will always have my heart. Saints Row 2 especially was probably the most emotional of the Saints Row games, and that's why it's an honorable mention on this one, because not only does it start to veer off into the wackiness of Saints Row, but it also really just hits home some pretty, like, sad moments for some of the characters. And then my number one, well, my new number one, I should say, is Fallout New Vegas.
There's that Fallout game.
Came out October 2010, developed by Obsidian Entertainment, and I put 100.3 hours in it.
Rookie numbers.
Hold on. On Steam. I tried looking up how many hours I put in Xbox, but apparently I hadn't played it in so long that Xbox doesn't keep track after a certain number of years.
What a noob.
Rookie numbers.
Yeah, what a noob, dude.
But I am fairly certain that, considering I played Fallout New Vegas for like months when I was younger, I have to be well over the 200 mark on the Xbox alone. So yeah, Fallout New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game, period.
It's the one I hear the most praise for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think me too.
And it's understandable. It is quirky. It is everything you would want in a Fallout game. There are so many different endings you can go with. There are a lot of really fun companions. There's a lot of emotion in a lot of the companions' backstories. It's just exactly what you would look for in a Fallout game. I'm glad that, especially with the new TV show, that Fallout's getting a lot more public eye, I guess. But New Vegas is just, first off, I'm pretty sure it was the first Fallout game I ever played. Then I played 3. And New Vegas, I didn't realize it wasn't done by Bethesda until years after I had played it. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense as to why New Vegas has a lot more funny moments. It literally has a trait in the game you can pick at the very beginning of the game that offers more oddity in the game. Like finding Indiana Jones's skeleton in a fridge because he obviously didn't survive the
That's
nuke.
so stupid.
Clearly, they haven't seen the movie.
Yeah. You could even like wear Indiana Jones's hat because, you know, you can loot his skeleton. It just, stuff like that in the game
Cute.
is little moments that I was like, okay, these are nice touches. So Fallout New Vegas, that is my number 1.
It's a game
And-
franchise I've tried to get into, and it's just not for me.
I played Fallout 4 and I really, really liked it.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Fallout 76, everybody.
If
Shout
you
out
like,
to the Fallout TV show, which is also really
I'm
good.
just joking.
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
played it. I just know it crashed.
76 was horrible at launch, but
I've only heard
recently played it.
negative things about it.
I think it still sucks, in my opinion. It's
I've
so
recently
boring, I
played
couldn't
it.
get into it.
And I found it a lot more fun. It is a lot more fun with friends, however.
Oh
but
yeah,
there
something
are-
that I don't relate to.
I was falling asleep.
But also you weren't really like going out adventuring. You were sticking with me, which I mean, yeah, that's kind of why we were playing it. But when I was playing it by myself and actually exploring and doing quests, like playing it as a Fallout game, it is a lot more fun. So yeah, New Vegas is what I would recommend anybody to play, simply because it's just a fun little quirky mess.
Sounds good, buddy. All right. Well, I guess that has to do it with the best open world video games.
Yep.
Yep.
I thank you, Ty, for joining us again. We enjoy talking to you. We enjoy your opinions,
Thank you for having me.
even though they're wrong half the time. But that's okay.
Okay.
Just giving you shit.
I agreed with you on a lot of stuff, I feel like.
No, it's all right. I'm just giving you
It's like
shit.
last time I ever agree with you.
But yeah, it's been a little bit since we did a podcast. I'm having fun doing it again. I hope you guys are too. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.